Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and today we're doing the mid-year book freakout tag. It is July, so we are basically in the middle of the year. It's time for a tag, so I'm very excited. I can't remember if I did this one last year, but I try every now and then. I haven't done a tag video in a long time though. I don't even remember the last one I did, and I don't know that I even did one this year. So yay, this may be the first tag of the year, and if it's not, you'll see a little text thing pop up that says, actually, you're a liar, Connie. Without further ado, let's get into the mid-year book freakout tag. First up, best book I've read so far. So just like with any other tag video, I'm going to have multiple answers, so bear with me, y'all. Okay. One of the first ones I want to talk about is A Vicious Game by Melissa Blair. This is the third book in the Halfling saga. This was really good. I was very happy with this third book in the series, and I technically listened to this as an audiobook. Still really enjoyed the narrator. So if you have been wanting to read this series, but maybe you don't want to physically read it, you should definitely listen to the audiobook. It is just so freaking good. From book one to now, I love this series. I know in my heart that this will be a 5-star like completed series for me. I already know going in that I will be rating this whole series 5 stars. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the truth. I will be rating this 5 stars, and that's that. I didn't want to take all of the volume, well, not even all of the volumes, even just one of them, but I really enjoyed reading all of Gangsta Cursed, which is the prequel. I just thought that series was really good, even though it's technically not ended completely. That's okay. Honestly, I still enjoyed what I was reading. I would still recommend Gangsta and Gangsta Cursed. I just think it's a really good series. And I would also recommend the anime, although that also kind of ends on a cliffhanger because the story wasn't technically finished. You'll kind of know it when you watch it. You definitely feel like, I have to continue. I have to know more. Technically, there's some more panels on some websites, but I don't know that the series will ever be completed, which is sad. I hope that it will one day, but it's not looking too good, sadly, but I hope one day. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Maybe there are some being written. Maybe it is completed. Don't think so, but it was definitely good. And even though this is the 5th volume, I started this series this year, and I just didn't feel like pulling the first one. I pulled the first one that was right next to me, and that was Though I Am an Inept Villainess, The Tale of the Butterfly Rat Body Swap in Maiden Court. I've talked about this since I read the first volume, how much I loved it, and I freaking absolutely love this series. I think it is so good. As I mentioned several times when I've talked about this, someone on TikTok said if you like the Apothecary Diaries, you will like Though I Am an Inept Villainess. They weren't lying, okay? And if anybody knows anything about me, is that I love the Apothecary Diaries. I'm actually getting a Mau Mau tattoo at the end of this month. I'm really excited. I'm gonna vlog it so you guys can see. It's gonna be a very large size Mau Mau tattoo incorporating Jinchi and her when she's like in her little cat girl mode. I can't wait. But this, I want to read the light novels. I don't know if this is an anime. If it becomes one, I will be the first one watching it. I just think it's amazing. Next up, best sequel I've read so far. I gotta start off with Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This was freaking good, okay? This was a duology, so the sequel, the second book, was fantastic. I especially liked the relationship that we got to see in this one. I genuinely love Elm and Eon. I'm not sure if that's how you say her name, but that's how we're saying it, okay? It was just everything that I wanted. I really like Elspeth, but I really love her cousin the most. She kind of reminds me of Lysandra, who was one of my favorite characters, and I feel like didn't get as much love as she deserved. Same thing with Eon. Like, love Elspeth, but I just feel like Eon stole the show, and this was such a good sequel. Chef's kiss, so good. Now, this one is a recent completed sequel that I read. I read this for the book club with my mom, my sister, my cousin, and I loved The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna. I thought this was really good. I genuinely liked the story. I was just talking in a vlog that you guys will see before this, how when I read the first book, I didn't realize that it wasn't a standalone. So the way it ended made me feel like, oh, it could end right here. If she never writes a second book, I'll be fine. But surprise, this one had to exist because not everything was what it seemed, especially about the Gilded Ones. So this was a great sequel, and it absolutely ended in a way that is making me go, okay, I'm going to be reading the Eternal Ones this year. No questions asked. I'm gonna be reading it. It's that good in my opinion. And last, I actually really enjoyed Pink Heart Jam. So this was also just a 2-volume series. I thought this was very, very cute. I liked our 2 main characters. I liked their age as well because they're both college students. And I liked the way that they kind of evolved their relationship. I liked the friends that they had. I just thought it was really cute, and I really liked the way it ended. So Pink Heart Jam, I think, is a really good series for anybody who's looking for something not totally lighthearted, because there's some other stuff going on in there, but I would definitely say, like, for what you kind of like see going in, honestly, it is kind of wholesome in its own way, and I just really like this character specifically. So Pink Heart Jam for sure. Next up, new releases I haven't read but want to. So I have 2 options. And one, I'm not going to talk about the titles of the books. I'm just going to talk about the author, because unfortunately all of her books are under St. Martin's Press, but I really genuinely love this author so much. She's a cancer survivor. I love the characters that she writes. I love the books. I've loved them since I read the first one. So I feel like I just have to include her, because I am going to read these books, but unfortunately I can't review them because I'm trying to stick to the St. Martin's Press boycott. But I did want to mention Vivian Chen. I like her books. It's on you if you would like to read them. And if you then want to promote them, that's up to you. But I'm just not going to say their names, you know, talk about release dates or anything, or promote them. But at the same time, I just feel like I have to mention Vivian Chen. I just love her so much. And I also want to read The Eternal Ones by Namina Forna. So this is the 3rd and the final one in the trilogy. I am just so looking forward to this book. It came out earlier this year, and I don't know, it's what made me decide that I wanted my book club to read the series. We've never read a series in the book club before, not even when it was just my mom and my sister and I. So yeah, and everybody's looking forward to reading it. So it's a winner. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I won't have a bunch of ones to show y'all necessarily, but Noragami Volume 27, that should be the final volume in the series. I love Noragami so much. I'm almost tempted to reread the whole series all over again, but I don't think I will. We'll see, because this volume doesn't come out until like December, and I've been waiting for a long ass time, because I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be, there was a release date for earlier. I could be wrong, but I cannot wait to read this conclusion. It's just gotten so sad and so just so depressing, so dark, and I just don't know what's going to happen at the end. I have my wants and desires. I don't know if they will come true, but if they do, I will be very, very pleased. Of course, I'm also looking for any new volume that's coming out towards the end of the year. That is The Apothecary Diaries. I think 2 more volumes should be released this year. Volume 12 and possibly Volume 13, but definitely Volume 12 is coming out before the year is up. And I just can't wait to read it because I love The Apothecary Diaries. And lastly, this is a cross our fingers situation, because I think we still don't know if this is getting released this year. It was supposed to get released at the beginning of this year, and that didn't happen, and that's okay. Then there's been some issues with the publisher for this author. I don't know the details, but it seems like part of the reason why some of this stuff is kind of being been made difficult for them is because of their posts for being pro-Palestine. And of course, right then and there, I'm going to follow that author anyway. But that would really suck if this book that I'm really, really looking forward to doesn't come out. And that is Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. I'm thinking that I'm pronouncing her name wrong, so I apologize for that. But I really loved Iron Widow. I thought it was such a great book. I would definitely recommend it. I want to read Heavenly Tyrant, okay? I will definitely be rereading Iron Widow before Heavenly Tyrant comes out, because it's just been like, it's going to be over a year. It might actually be 2 years at this point since I read the first book. So I'm going to need to get a little crash course because I forgot a lot of stuff that was going on in it. But I can't wait to read it, and the cover is beautiful. Next is biggest disappointment. So I'm not saying that I had high expectations for this book, but I really thought I was going to really like The Retreat by J.A. Baker more than I ended up liking it. And I talked about it in a reading vlog sometime in May, I think it was. Not in June, but probably May. And I was really surprised by how that it was. It was very like convoluted. The ending was just ridiculous. It didn't make any sense. I don't know why you would do that. So many questions went unanswered, and I don't know what we were supposed to get from that. And not only that, I don't even understand what the point of the title was, like, to the book. I don't like when that happens, okay? I like, if you're gonna have a real solid title, I'm thinking The Retreat. Okay, y'all are on vacation. No, they're just like in the same town, kind of. Not that far from where they did live. It seems like many people know them, or at least coming in and out of the town. They weren't like on vacation. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And then what were you really retreating from? Because all the crazy stuff happened in the place that you're living now. It was a lot. I'm not saying that I wouldn't recommend it, but if you asked me like, hey, should I definitely read this? I would probably say, no, you could definitely live without it. Just saying. Next question, biggest surprise. I would probably go with One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. It took me a long time to read this, not because I wasn't enjoying myself. I was really taking my time with this book. I had started it, I think, at the end of last year and didn't finish it until the beginning of this year. And then I still did take my time with Two Distant Crowns, but it wasn't that I was not enjoying myself. I don't know what it was, but I was surprised by how much I liked it. Everyone talked about how good it was, although there are some people who don't. But I enjoyed myself. I really liked it. I just thought it was so good. And then I ended up loving the second book. So it was a surprise to me that I liked it as much as I did, if that makes sense. And the same goes for Though I Am an Inept Villainess. When I say big surprise, I mostly mean that like I am surprised by how much I loved this series. Everybody said, hey, as I mentioned earlier, if you like the Apothecary Diaries, you will love this. They weren't wrong. Especially for this girl. And I'm obsessed, okay? I want to find any type of merch for this as I can possibly find. I want to read the light novel, so I'm just surprised by how much I ended up loving it, because even though it is really good and I think that it's worth loving, I've become obsessed. And that's okay with me, but I've become obsessed. Next question is favorite new author, debut or new to me. So first, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but I'm definitely going to go with Rachel Gillig. I've never read anything by her before this. I'm not sure if there's anything else by her, but I really loved this duology. I would absolutely read another fantasy novel if she puts one out. And yeah, that would definitely be on the wish list for sure. As soon as I find out, if maybe it's already in the works and I just don't know, but I would definitely read another series by her. And I also chose Jun Miyazaki. I don't think I brought one of the volumes in here, but that's the mangaka of Kowloon. And then After the Rain, I think that's the next one. No, well, that's another series by them. So obviously there's a lot of mangakas I could choose. And yeah, I mean, shit, you could choose Satsuki Nakamura, because I really loved this. You could choose Natsu Hyuga for the Apothecary Diaries. But I think I'm just surprised by how much I really ended up liking Kowloon. So that answer could also go for biggest surprise. Granted, I didn't start that this year, and technically I didn't start it this year, so it's not really new to me, but I'm just surprised by how much I really like this mangaka. So technically, because I'm going to be reading the other series at some point this year, we'll just go ahead and add them. But yes, I love Kowloon. So far, it's just been very eerie, very weird. The way that the volumes keep ending just keeps making me want to keep reading it. So it's just very good. Next question, newest favorite character. So Elm and Eon from Two Twisted Crowns, like I mentioned earlier. I really, really, really loved the fact that in the second book, we got more POV chapters, one being Elm, because we got to see Elm in the first book, but we didn't get to see his perspective. And I just loved the romance with him and Eon. I really, really love Mitsuki from Ladies on Top. I just adore her. She and I are very similar. And she's also just very sweet and cute. And I just loved Ladies on Top. That was a series I started and finished this year, so it was so good. I mentioned in a different video, if you liked Sweat and Soap, but you wanted something a little bit like more, you know, just a little bit more over that line, you would like Ladies on Top. And then Kori Ren from Though I Am an Inept Villainess. I love her. And I also love the other character that body swapped with her. I think it's Kaigetsu. I just love their dynamic. I just can't wait to keep reading this series. So she's definitely my favorite. I love the fact that when she gets the body swap, you know, she's going from a body that suffers a lot. You know, I don't know exactly what she has going on with her, but it kind of reminds me of fibromyalgia and some other things that are happening too. So the fact that she gets to body swap with someone who is not suffering from anything that she's suffering from, and she is really embracing the fact that, oh my God, I can go on a walk for a long time without having a fainting spell. I can go out in the garden and plant stuff, and I could just have a grand old time. I'm not gonna, like, again, pass out. I'm not gonna have all these allergies. Like, I can keep doing these things without having to stop. And sometimes she has to really force herself to stop because she could keep going and she's just enjoying herself so much. So as a character, I just adore her so much. Next are books that made me cry. So this one I absolutely could not mention in the video, and that was They Called Me Lioness, a Palestinian girls fight for freedom by Ahed Tamimi and Dina Tokuri. This was really, really good, although it's one of those things where it's like, actually it's really sad, you know, because it's nonfiction, you know, because it's a memoir. There's a scene where she is talking about the death of her uncle, and that is her mother's brother. That was so hard to read. I cried so hard reading that. It was just heartbreaking. So much that she and other Palestinians are going through right now is devastating. It's hard to like wrap your mind around the awful things that are happening to these people, and I don't know how to put it into words other than that. It's just horrifying. So I would definitely recommend this book, especially if you are someone who is kind of starting to realize, hey, you know, I've kind of been fed a lot of propaganda. Maybe I'd like to hear some perspectives from somebody who actually lives there, who actually is Palestinian. You know, Ahed and her family live in the West Bank, and that is a somewhat different experience from the Palestinians who are living in Gaza, but not quite, you know. And obviously, as you do more research, you will find that, I mean, it's just fucking devastating. But where she lives, it is very reminiscent of apartheid South Africa. They have a statue of Nelson Mandela, like, I don't want to say in the town center, but like, think town center basically. So Nelson Mandela talked about the Palestinian struggle, talked about how it was very similar to the Black South African struggle there. So if you want to learn more, you want to hear about life living there and the stuff that they go through, from someone who actually has experienced it, please read this. I absolutely think that it is a worthwhile read, and everyone should read it. And it's also very short. It should not take you that long to get through this. And yeah, just keep it simple like that. Please read this. And then secondly, I don't remember where I put these volumes, except I'd see them right now as I'm looking around. And that was The Summer You Were There. I read this earlier this year. It was also one that surprised me that I liked it so much, but it was so good. It's not over, but the volume that made me cry was the volume that I was like, oh, I need to find out exactly when the 4th volume comes out. It literally it was already out at that point. I left where I was to go to Books A Million to buy it and read it right then and there. That's how good I think the series was, and that's how sad I was. I was very, 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 very broken and shattered inside. Let's just keep it that way. Next question is a book that made me happy. Let's see what I'll put down. Oh, you know what? I put From Below by Darcy Coates. Now, it's a pretty fucking crazy book. I listened to it as an audiobook, and I don't know that I talked about it last month. I can't remember when I talked about this book. So I'm starting to think maybe I didn't talk about it, but I read From Below by Darcy Coates last month. I listened to it as an audiobook. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it. Maybe I did talk about it on my wrap up. It doesn't matter. I just thought it was very good. I thought as an audiobook it was awesome. I thought the subject matter was really good. I think anything that has to do like deep below the water surface, you know, scuba diving, scary as hell. It's almost like space exploration. Those are two places I don't want to fucking go. I don't want to go to space, and I don't want to dive into the ocean. Okay? I don't want that. I also just recently watched The Meg and The Meg 2, and you know what? Leave them down there, okay? If there's a megalodon swimming, just don't go into that little deep barrier, okay? Whatever was going on, leave the megalodon alone. We don't need to stir up any freaking big-ass sharks, okay? Leave them that's where they belong, okay? Leave their habitat alone. We don't need to explore everything, just like we don't need to explore everything up there, okay? That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it ended up being a really good one. It was a really, really good audiobook. I loved everything about it. I'm pretty sure I either rated it 4.75 or 5 stars. It was that good. Next question, favorite book to film adaptation I saw this year. So I am making this count because I didn't really watch any movie book adaptations. I don't watch a lot of those. Not by choice, just doesn't always happen. So I went ahead and made it about anime because I read these series and I thought they were good. Okay, so first of all, the number one, Skip and Loafer. Okay, I watched the first season of this anime. I swear to God, if they don't make a second season, I will fly over there and I don't know what I'll do, but I'm gonna have some words, okay? Whoever is going to make season 2, y'all better make it happen because the first season was so good. It looked beautiful. I love this series and I will talk about it all the time. It's that fucking good. Skip and Loafer for sure. Also, and you guys should already know where I'm going with this, okay? You should already know I'm going to talk about the Apothecary Diaries, okay? My all-time favorite. Devin watched this with me. Like, that's how serious it was for me. I made Devin watch this. It's not like Devin wouldn't have watched it, but I don't think he would have watched it without me, if that makes sense. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Already got renewed for another season, as it should. Are you kidding me? Another instance, if something doesn't happen with it for some reason, I will fly over there and I will cause a scene. Try me. I will cause a scene. Next is favorite review I've written this year. So, okay. I'm much better talking about a book, which not even, okay, sometimes I do a bad job, but I'm a lot better just kind of freely speaking than I am physically writing. So if it was going to be about what I've written, I actually am pretty proud of the review I wrote on NetGalley for Murder on Devil's Pond. I did a good job. I did a good job with that one. I think I did a good one. But if I wanted to talk about a review I gave that I found the most funny, it would probably be The Titan's Bride because I didn't expect it. Now, I didn't physically write a review, but I talked about it in a reading vlog, and yeah, that one was just fucking crazy. And I do go back and watch my own videos. No shame here. I think I'm really funny. I like me. I like Connie, so I will support Connie no matter what. And sometimes I just like to go back and revisit the things that I have said because I will get a good little chuckle out of it. And Lord. But yeah, Murder on Devil's Pond was the most recent one, and I just thought it was really good. Yeah, so I'll pick that one. Next question is most beautiful book I've bought so far this year or received. So is it the most beautiful? I don't know, but this one stood out to me because I like all the covers for this book, for this series. So first up would be A Vicious Game. I love these covers. I don't know if you can see that. I feel like you should be able to, but I just love these damn things. Even though I listen to them as audiobooks, I will physically buy every book because I just love the covers. Next up, The Eternal Ones. Can you blame me? Of course, this is one of the most beautiful covers. Every single cover in this series is beautiful. So yeah, I love this one. And I would say every cover that I've bought from the Apothecary Diaries. What can I say? I also like the covers for Though I Am an Inept Villainess, but I mean, I think that the covers for the light novels are prettier. I don't own those yet, so I know. I am trying to be so much better about saving money and not buying things I don't, well, do we really need some of the stuff that we need? Well, no. I don't know. I'm trying to be better about not like binge buying because I have a problem with that. So I would like to get the light novels and I would like to have them physically because I really like the covers, although I know that I could just get them online. But what fun is that? Am I right? And lastly, books I need to read by the end of the year. So many. I mean, I'm surrounded by so much that I need to read, but I need to finish Bleach. I need to finish what I own of One Piece at the very least. I need to finish Claymore because I just recently started that and I really like Claymore. I also wrote just everything I own. Pretty much all the books that I've talked about so far, like the Eternal Ones, I need to finish that. I don't think that the fourth book for the Halfling Saga comes out this year. I think it comes out in the beginning of this year. But like, I've got a ton of books over here, down there. I mean, good God, it's awful how much I have to read. And then that's not even including everything I have on NetGalley, which I know I've said this many times, but I'm getting better about. I am like reading things quickly. I am getting them reviewed, even though like my score hasn't necessarily improved. It's okay. I'm basically below what I was averaging at, which was like 61%. So I need to get a move on. And I think it'll help that I requested a bunch of manga and I'm reading it very quickly and reviewing it, and some audiobooks, but I didn't really check this one book and it was the second book in a series. But it's okay because I went ahead and started reading the first book so I can quickly read the second book. So we're trying over here in my household. But yes, that is it. That is the mid-year book freakout tag. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any answers to these questions, put them down in the comment section below. I'll even try to add the questions in the description box if you want to participate. If you've never heard of mid-year book freakout tag, if you haven't done it in a while, please, I would love to know what your answers are. So I tag you, even though that's not a prompt, I tag you if you want to do it, okay? And that's that. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on other social medias in the description box down below. And you have a good day. Goodbye.